Brrr. Hey, you friends, family, and strangers. We have 6 days left until I can get my keys and move into my nice, comfortable, new, updated, warm apartment, and I can leave this headache behind. After that day, I'll most likely still be out here a couple times to grab some my other vehicle, which will probably be here as of tomorrow, and also just the last couple things that'll be here on the property that I'll be taking over to my storage unit or to the apartment, what have you. But I spent the night here last night, as you saw, and that'll be it. I'm only going to be doing that. Let's see. Yeah, 6 more nights. So I'm excited. If you know this story and you've been watching for a while, then you know how nice that'll feel for me to be done with this cold, annoying house. A lot of love here for the old homestead, but the legacy has to come to an end, and I am very much so looking forward to that. A total shift of mind compared to the last apartment I had, which I couldn't quite figure out if I wanted to stay or if I wanted to come and try to be brave and work it out here at the house one last time. Well, been there, done that, and I can tell you now from an overwhelming vote, I'm ready to get the fuck out of here. But anyways, today, there's not much to do. Kind of late getting my day started, but it did feel good to have the chance to sleep in for the first time in a very long time. The only thing really I need to do today is take what very little money I have the ability to spend over the next 6 days and buy a couple things to eat, and really that's it. Luckily I don't need gas or laundry money at the moment because your boy's on the tightest, most strict budget I've ever had in my life, and that is because every dime needs to go toward making this happen in 6 days so I can get in there, get started, and get my life back. Today, all I really need to do is run to the store and then come home, try to see if I can figure out some tax stuff, and then really, sadly, other than that, get ready for work. But who knows? Maybe I'll come up with some fun stuff to say and do and point the camera at along the way. So, with that said, if you don't mind, gather your things and let's do it.
You're a loser.
One thing I should probably buy to conserve and hold me over for the next 6 days is ramen noodles. But my microwave is in storage. Yeah, if I think of it, I'll grab my microwave out of storage, but not entirely sure which storage unit the microwave is actually in. Tomorrow, by the way, I do believe we're going to get my van out of storage, and then I can terminate that storage unit. I won't need it anymore. I'll be able to save a little bit more money instantly that way. And if my friend is unavailable to come get me for taking me down there, then it looks like me and you get to walk across what will soon be my former town. Whew. There's never enough time in one day. All I did was go to the land of soccer moms, enjoy the aesthetics, grab a gallon of milk, and one of those 6-pack of cup of ramen you just add hot water. I can do that with my Keurig, baby. We're living like kings around here. Just got back to the crib, and it's already time to start heating up a bucket of water to get ready to dash your ass and get ready for work. There just ain't enough time for living because Time's up, time's taking up too much for living, dude. Alright, get out of my face, I gotta go eat shit.
I'm calling here regarding to the property at South Regis Street.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you might consider sell it now or maybe in near future.
Yes, dear.
Yeah, you're interested in selling?
Oh, yeah.
For how much you're looking for?
$10 billion, please.
So do you have any other property you're looking to sell in
Yeah.
Ohio?
Yep, all of it. Yep, the whole fucking state
Thank you.
belongs to me. Yep. Yep. Oh.
Time to get to heading to the storage units, to the storage unit. Speaking of units, we're leaving my house 26 minutes earlier than normal because yesterday I so badly wanted to stop at the storage unit, one of the storage units, and look at my things, kind of take a mental inventory of what needed to be brought to the front to get ready for moving into the apartment that first weekend. I just want to kind of have my stuff in on the first couple of days and then spend like that first weekend hopefully doing a lot of chillaxing, or at least sleeping in, chillaxing, then maybe running back out to the house, maybe not. So, yeah. But I didn't have a lot of time yesterday, so I was trying to make sure I leave early today. Anywho, look, here's the takeaway from that. I know that's boring on its own, but if I may punch it up for you, I'll say this. The deal is on track. I so badly want to call my lease manager again just to confirm, but I can't do that every day as much as I want to. I'll drive her insane. She'll think I'm a absolutely crazy freak that I am. She'll catch on to that, and I don't want her to know how nut basket in the head I am. My lip is about to start bleeding again, I think. It's just dry and cracked. This freaking cold ass, dry ass April we're having so far. Even when it like flash floods for 3 days, it just went right back to cold, dry, nasty weather. Like, it still feels full-blown wintertime. Right now feels like the first week of February right now. I'm not going to call her again, although I want to call like twice a day and confirm. Like, are you sure? Are you sure you're holding that same apartment? And are you sure on this specific day, if I come up with the money, I can have it? And are you sure that I can renew and do everything normal after that and get like a normal lease and stuff? And like, that's my way in. Years ago, I was having trouble getting an apartment. My credit was pathetic back then as well, believe it or not. And I was able to get in. There's always a way to get in, okay? That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's today's title. There's always a way to get in. When someone tells you their limit, their rules, their yes or no, their hard line in the sand or whatever, don't just walk away and dismiss it. Think about other options that maybe they didn't even think about, okay? So years ago, I wanted to get this place real bad, or at least wanted to move and stuff real bad out of my current home. And I don't even remember where I was living before. Actually, I do. I was living kind of close to work, but I wanted to move back to a town I had lived in a couple years before and get reconnected and just kind of be away from work, actually. Even though I almost bought a house like next door to where I work. But that was recently. I'm talking about 10 or plus years ago. I wanted to kind of get away from where I worked, and but I couldn't get an apartment. My credit was probably even worse than it is right now, which is bad. So I came across this friend who said that she was thinking of leaving her apartment and moving in somewhere else. And I thought, I said, before you do that, will you add me as a roommate onto your lease? She said, just move in, pay the write a check each month for that unit, and then if they ask any questions, say you're just covering my rent for me. And I said, well, I think just in case, what we should do is you should add me on the lease as a roommate in case anything comes of it. And then in a few months, when no one suspects a thing, you call and remove yourself from the lease. That way, if anything were to happen to me or anything like that, you're not on the hook for any of my crap either. I was able to get into a place that denied me previously. And then through that, when I was living there, I repaired my credit and stuff. And when I went to move again to another apartment that was like a lot better for like getting out of town and getting in line to work, but I was still able to stay away from work and live in the town I wanted to, but end up moving like on the edge of that town. So it was like the best of both worlds, if that makes sense. When I went to get that apartment, because I had snuck into the last apartment through the old roommate switcheroo, I was able to lay low, repair my credit, and I made good content, made good memories, went on trips, had a fun time in my year or two there at that apartment, however it was, paid down some old debt, blah, 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 blah. And when I went to get my new place, guess what? They accepted me in 2 seconds. Credit was fine. That's all I'm trying to do with this place, although I don't really see myself moving out of this new place. Part of me pictures myself. This road is closed, of course. Good thing I left 26 minutes early for work because because of that, I ended up taking this alternative route. So now I'm going to pretty much just waste the 26 minutes I created because the road is closed. Let me do the pauser here and put in a GPS. Okay. Now on an alternative route. Yeah, I'm going to be unfortunately kind of screwed on the extra time I made for myself. I think just went, for the most part, out the window. This one. So friends, my point today is there's always a way in. Sometimes the person you're talking to and getting a no from, and this applies for jobs, housing, even relationships. I'm not saying you should manipulate someone and be just dishonest, but there could be a way to patch things up. There could be a way to really connect in the beginning of a new relationship that doesn't seem like a way at first, but there's always a way in. And if you can present that and say, I think we may have overlooked this, why don't we try to focus on this and then let things develop from there, blah, 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 blah. The person who's telling you no may not reveal their full hand and tell you everything that you have for options, because it's their job to act as a filter, like a lease manager, property manager, or a job interviewer. They may see certain things, but that doesn't mean it's impossible to get in that company. I see it all the time. People come in through other avenues and then they get to where they originally wanted to go. They just have to do it through a different way. So don't give up when it comes to thinking about it. Some people, and I'm guilty of this too, where if I get told no, I just try to completely reinvent my scenario so I never have to think about it again because I'm butthurt about the rejection and stuff. And that's not always the way to do it. If you keep thinking about it, there is a way to figure it out most of the time, how to get in any damn ways. Okay? That's what I'm doing with this apartment. That's what I did with that one apartment I told you about back in the day. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. You're playing the system that's there. You may be doing it in a very unusual way that not many people think of. That doesn't make it wrong. People might tell you it's wrong because they're offended they didn't think of that or have the success that you have. I screwed up my credit. Guilty as charged for the reasons I had. The reasons that were perfect
reasons at the time. Everyone wants to feel some kind of guilt or shame because they did something that later becomes counterproductive, even though at the time it's exactly what you needed to do and was the most intelligent choice for your current situation. Just because your situation changes doesn't mean that you lacked intelligence back then. It might, but in this case, that's not what happened. And I think that's true in a lot of cases. And people are all hard on themselves. This is positive, Doug, by the way. When I'm in a lot better mood, I'm actually able to think about the glass half full and stuff, and it's a lot easier. So if you're dealing with depression, you're coming up against speed bump after speed bump, it's hard to reconnect with the positive things that keep you motivated. Trust me, I know more than anybody. But anyways, how I'm getting in this place through the back door is by utilizing something that was barely mentioned in conversation, and that is the fact that you can do a 3-month lease here. That occurred to me, almost like I had to go into hypnosis and try to figure out a clue that I had overlooked. After my house did not sell, now I'm completely around the road blockage. And that was a good little path that I like to take because it went right next to this pretty, gorgeous farm. And I enjoyed the farm, and I enjoyed driving through that area, but that road is closed. Anyways, what were you talking about? I forget. But don't give up hope. There's a way in. So this place, I was trying to figure out, there's got to be a way in. I don't want to go to another place. I can tuck tail and go to a different place, but I don't fucking want to. Dang, it's hot.
Call from 740-479-5.
So I'm like, as we were talking on the phone and I was telling her, you know, I didn't get my house sold. I'm sorry, but thank you so much for holding the place for me and keeping your word and everything. That's awesome of you to do that. Then I thought, and then I just kind of said out of nowhere, didn't you say something about a 3-month option? And you could tell that she had kind of forgot about it as well. She said, oh yeah, you can sign a 3-month lease, but in that case, that would require payment up front as well. Just at this time around, obviously it'd be for 3 months instead of 12. And I said, well, man. And I literally told her, if you would have told me that or reminded me of that, I would have sold my house for the lower offer that they offered. And it still would have solved a lot of my problems. So now we're in like this huge month delay because of that little thing that I didn't connect at the time. But I didn't give up. And while thinking about it more with her, I was able to brainstorm. That little nugget had percolated back up in the old fog machine, and boom, I asked her. I was correct. I did miss that 3-month bit of info, and I can utilize it again, and that's exactly what I'm doing now. But I grew so impatient, I started to desperately reach far out and pull strings to try to make it happen as soon as I could, because if you spend 6 years in a house with no furnace and 3 or 4 years with no water, it gets so beyond annoying and frustrated, and eventually you just get so damn over it. I wonder if this car behind me is mad. I think they are. The way they threw their hands in the air because I didn't merge into this turn intersection on a yellow light like the car in front of me did. Oh well, we'll get a green arrow soon, dude. Calm your tits. Just like this. Look, I inconvenienced that man throwing a fit for, what was it, 20 seconds? Wah, wah, wah. Maybe that's a good sign of good luck coming my way. So, now my rent, because of this 3-month option, you pay for what you need. They know they're able to make an extra $500 a month off someone wanting a short-term rental. And that's exactly what they're going to get, because I just want to get in. I want to get set up. And you have to keep in mind, the month of June that's coming, I will have no income. So I need to secure my housing through June and then reassess from there, budget-wise, blah, blah, blah. I should have the house sold by then, so I should have the money. All these different things, I have to figure out how to properly build with the material I have. It's a lot to conquer in the old pinball machine, you know what I'm saying? So friends, family, strangers, do not give up. When you're told no, it may not really mean no. It may just mean no for the particular path of travel that you and that person are talking about at that moment. Don't stop thinking about it and trying to work a way in otherwise. Because I'm living proof. In a lot of cases, a no isn't really fully a no like you think. It is very possible also to, that is a gorgeous little house that is for sale. Maybe I should call about that. Just kidding. I won't, I promise. A no may not be a no, although it sounds like a no at first. Don't give up. Do not give up. And keep thinking about it. If I wouldn't have obsessed over it and obsessed over why I'm hearing no and why I'm doomed, why I'm scheduled to fail, if I wouldn't have kept thinking about it so much, I wouldn't have been able to unlock this like hidden little nugget of helpful information, because I would have just dismissed it and it would have been done, and that would essentially be like me giving up. So don't give up. I think obsession is a good thing. Look up a book called Be Obsessed or Be Average by Grant Cardone. B-O-B-A. Be obsessed or be average, one of the two. You can reach your goals or you can make excuses, but you can't do both at the same time. Ow, would you look at that? Ow, somebody got caught illegal smuggling of Sour Patch Kids across the border. Ow, no, not good. Ow. Let's pop in here to the wheeled storage unit and see what's doing today. I don't even fully know what I'm doing here right now. I just thought it would do my soul some good to pop in here and I guess kind of see like what I want to put in the car for now, to put in the van, to have with me in the morning 6 days from now when I go to get the apartment and everything going. That way I kind of have like a move-in readiness kit, so to speak. So, yeah, somehow I managed to have an hour of time to do that. I don't know how I pulled that off, but I did. So I'm going to take my time and maybe get some stuff together, like my suitcase. And you see those shirts up there hanging? Beep. I should definitely like take some clothes and my vacuum, just random stuff to have it ready. And I'll have a lot more room in the van, obviously, so that stuff will go in the van, plus what I already have at home. Put it all together, show up, run to the bank, pay them, come back, get my keys, and set up a little camp, maybe even for that whole first weekend there at the apartment before I have to come back and do any more moving of any actual stuff into the apartment. So, let's see how that goes. Well, got me a whole carload full of shit. Try not to overthink it. Just tried to put stuff in the car that I knew for sure I'd be glad I had that first weekend at the apartment. And the other stuff, the stuff that I'll probably never keep again, like stuff that there's just not going to be room to have in the apartment. The apartment is smaller than the house, obviously, and I'm going to rent a garage at some point, but that's not going to be for just stuff to have endlessly that I'll never use anymore, or at least not for a couple years. Like my microwave. My new apartment has a microwave, so probably going to get rid of that, Goodwill it, thrift store it, whatever, and just things like that. There's also like a bunch of plywood I own in my storage unit. None of that is getting taken into the next life with me. There just won't be any place for it or use for it. So, but other than that, I have like my cool toilet paper holder, some magnetic hooks for like hanging your key on the door and stuff like that. So it's going to feel good to get those things kind of put into the van and ready. I want to move in ASAP, but I can't. So at least getting things ready makes me feel like I'm moving forward, and then it's like proactive stuff I can do to make myself feel less antsy. It helps me not to look at the clock as much. So I got to head in here to work, and it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I'm not really sure if I have any money for lunch, and I definitely didn't pack shit for lunch, because the only thing I would have had to pack would have been dry cereal. But hey, we're doing it. It'll still be a good day regardless, because I have the next 2 nights off from work after tonight. That'll be a good couple days to chillax, work on some video stuff. Might tidy up the house a smidge, not crazy, but a little bit. Definitely going to try to get my van back into my driveway tomorrow so I can get the van ready for move-in day in 6 days. Basically, whatever's in that van is going with me to the bank, then back over to the apartments to where I will get my keys. Then I will drive that van to my building, then take my happy ass with you up those steps into my 3rd story place of rest, and hopefully rest in peace. And I can just plop down, blow up my airbed, lay down for 2.3 seconds before I have to get ready for work. And then, so that should be an interesting day, to say the least. But now, you are going to skip the next 9 hours of me at work. And through the power of movie magic, it will be dark out. Yes, it did become dark during the time that you got to skip. It also became 28 degrees. Even though it is the middle of April, we are still dealing with winter weather. I don't know if I recall it ever being winter time still in mid-April. But this year, it has happened. Tonight at work, the only thing really bothering me in the back of my mind was this tax stuff. As you've heard me complain, I need to get on the ball. Hopefully tomorrow, do a little more research. Technically, it's not too late to start a file with H&R Block and get everything submitted over. The only problem is I'm not going to have the money to fuck with it. I will need to file late. Whether I send them a form indicating that or not, I'm probably just going to file late. And by the time the feds get ready to knock on my door, by the time the FBI gets ready to boot in my door, I won't be living there anymore, and I will have already filed my taxes by then anyways. Isn't that exciting, friends? So yeah, I think that's it. I know there was something else I was going to tell you, but I do not recall at this particular second in time. I'm now on that long, lonesome road home. The house is about an hour away from work, even on this roundabout straight shot, which means I don't have really any turns until I hit town, but it is kind of a round way to get over there. But because there's no turning and stopping and stuff, it is a lot quicker overall. The only reason I'm telling you that is because the apartment will be about half the drive time, a little less than half, probably about 20 minutes. So that will be a big help. I don't know if you remember from my past videos recently, but you know, I almost purchased a house that was only about 5 minutes from my job. And that would have been great for that reason. However, what I never got to show you was what that house actually looked like on the inside. A complete and total blower-upper. Some of the subfloor was missing. There was 0 utilities. Everything was taken out. There wasn't even a toilet or a shower or anything in the actual structure, the home. And I showed you that house from the outside the other day, if you remember. There was that separate building, that barn garage thing, the barn garage, the barge, the barrage, and that had nothing in it too. It's not like there was a guest bathroom or not a guest bath, but like a working on your car garage bathroom. Basically, I've seen garages where there's a bathroom out there for when you're out working in the garage, basically. So I wouldn't have even been able to take a piss out there or anywhere, except obviously like in a bucket or whatever. If you just bought a brand new home, at least brand new to you, and you're pissing in a trash can, whew, that's a rough start. Not only that, but that house was miles from civilization. So I was all on board because with that, I would have been rent-free and mortgage-free. So I was just going to enjoy the closeness to work and the extra money that I get to keep from my regular checks, and I was going to fix it up, but not like crazy, just enough to enjoy until I figure out what I'm doing next, basically. As you saw, I couldn't get as much for my house as I thought, so I wasn't able to buy it. The seller did not want to offer buyer finance, even though we would have still gave them like half the money that they were looking for, and they had nothing to lose. The house is still on the market, so they went from half the money now to half the money over time to still absolutely no money at all, and they had nothing to lose because if I would have defaulted, they would have got to keep it all as profit and still kept their property. They would have had a lien on the property, essentially, is how that works. Just like your mortgage company does when you have a mortgage. And that just gives them full legal access to kick your ass out of it, sell it at auction. The sheriff's department normally takes care of that in whatever county you're in. If you go tits up, they just kick your ass out of the home because you didn't pay your mortgage on time. But anyway, yeah, so that's the thing there, yeah. What else? The apartment is a lot closer, not quite the 5 minutes, but the reason I didn't just look for another piece of property at a lesser value, basically, I'm not going to make what I thought I was going to make on the house, because the mortgage company did not disclose this big balloon payment when they gave me the payoff amount. So at first we were shopping with a different budget. But now with the smaller budget, I could go and obviously find a parcel at that lower price. But I had already kind of mentally switched gears by then. I was looking for the amenities. I've already done that, where I've lived in a home with no accommodations, no amenities whatsoever. I've done that for 6 years. A hell house that's nothing but labor. And I got to thinking, well, I don't get this house, so I don't get to do this project and that project. I don't get to rebuild it piece by piece or tear it down piece by piece. That started to sound really good in my brain stem. So then I got to thinking more like, okay, screw it. Since I'm going to have a mortgage payment probably, or I'm just going to have a house that's even worse probably, I just would rather get an apartment. And the more I thought about it, the more I just started to really wish I had saved my apartment from 2 months ago, even though that one kind of sucked ass because I hate that it was upstairs, downstairs apartment. It was a townhome, which basically just means a giant Livington downstairs and 2 bedrooms upstairs. That's your typical townhome apartment. I've lived in one of those for a couple years. It kind of sucked the whole ass time. I don't even know why I was excited to get that apartment. And this one recently, I don't know why I was like cool with the townhome, and then like after a day or two, I thought, man, I made a mistake. This place sucks. And something like that's not supposed to really matter, but it kind of does. Once you're in it, you're kind of stuck in it. And ultimately, as you saw, I chickened out and went back to my house thinking I'd much rather have the privacy, the quiet. Then reality sets in again when you're not like in the honeymoon phase anymore. The reality sets in again where, okay, now I'm in a house again with no water, no heat. It's absolutely dismal and miserable. And you saw me just kind of, my attempt to grind it out this one last time was well documented. Not even 30, 40 videos ago. Especially that episode where I am like literally in my closet with a space heater, just waiting for that really small 2x4 space to heat up so I can take my coat off. Standing in a closet, waiting for a warm enough temperature to take my coat off in the closet and stand there just to feel warm air on me. It got sad real quick. It got depressing. And after doing that for 6 years without a working furnace, believe it or not, that gets old. So all things considered, I started to really think, I think I would be a lot better with an apartment. Not just for that, but it also occurred to me, and I think I mentioned this, but I don't think I've explained it well. All the reasons I wanted a property for, those reasons don't really exist anymore. I wanted a yard. I wanted to mow. I wanted to do home projects. I wanted multiple rooms for multiple things, but I also thought, you know, what a great place to start. I'm sure I'll meet someone, potentially start a family out here. Now that's not even something that's not the terms in which I think. My attitude toward starting a family and getting married basically hinges on letting it happen naturally instead of planning on it. That's just something you have to let happen naturally. And anyone who sticks to my life naturally and that connection just stays through a pure natural connection where there's no forcing it, that person will be more than understanding that I have an apartment for the reasons I have it, and it's a nice apartment and I love it. And they might be someone who doesn't want a home right now or a property of their own, or we might as a team want to get the property that's right for us. And I think having a property with another income and another set of helping hands will be so much easier. Although I can tell you, when it comes to starting a family, I still have no idea how my parents did what they did. We doubled the size of our house. We kept up on our bills, meaning my parents, maintained 2 acres of land beautifully. Our yard was always perfect. Always a big flower garden and vegetable garden every single summer, all the time. I don't recall ever not having all that going. My mom ran a full-time 7-day-a-week, 24-hour-a-day, state-certified daycare business, and she made a killing, and she worked her entire ass off 24/7. I don't ever remember my mom not being on the clock with her daycare business, because there was always somebody at the house. A client's child, basically, was at the house continuously, no matter what. That's what I remember. And I asked her once, how did you do that? And she was a HBIC for Longaberger Consulting and made money doing that. Oh, that was more about a social aspect, but business-wise, she did really good with that as well, because I watched that activity. I watched that money coming in and the clientele and all the organization she did. So, and then my dad worked his ass off, and when he wasn't at work, he was at work on the property, working on the property. Our pool, our yard, our home. He did a lot of refurbishing and rebuilding, converted our garage into a whole ass second living room, and it looked like the house was built that way originally. And the dude didn't have internet or a book to reference. He was just a mega genius. He was Bob Vila on steroids without any kind of training. I never understood how these people were impenetrable, superhuman, like they were aliens from another world. And what I've been waiting to say, raising a bunch of kids of their own. And never missed a beat. Never missed a school event. Never missed a football game. Never missed anything. Anything. Ever. And we took vacations. My parents worked their entire ass off for years. And I'm talking 24/7. Dad got up at like 4 a.m. to go to work and be there by 6 a.m. or whatever the case. And mom was always at work even when she was asleep. There was kids at the house that she would get up and check on, then go back to bed. Unreal. And then how do you raise kids on top of that? I can't even maintain my yard in the summer. I have half the amount of acreage, and I don't have anything that they had taking up my time, and I can't pull it off. I can't even begin to pull it off. That house, there's always something that needs fixed. There's always something wrong. There's always something new that needs fixed. And it's just been a shit show. I'm looking forward to going back to when I had everything easy to maintain. Now, if I need something fixed, all I got to do is send an email to the lease manager, and somebody knocks on my door within the hour to come fix it, because that's what I pay for. At a hotel, what do you pay for? You pay for the room, but you also pay for the 24-hour staff on site to whatever. Answer your call when you need something. Hey, I want to add an extra night. We really need towels. Do you have something? What time's breakfast? I mean, an apartment is not a whole lot different. They have hours and days when staff is on site, and when they're not, that's up to you to maintain the peace, because you are the person who lives there in every legal way. And legally speaking, tenants have more rights than property owners as far as the amount of laws put in place providing provisions for tenants. So you very much do live there as a resident. It's your address. You have a lot of legal right to be there and stay there. There is countless aspects of that subject you could talk about. But anyway, in the apartment, you know, you need something fixed, bada bing, bada boom, you got it. So I want to do my own thing, big time. I want to customize my house and make it my own in every way, shape, or form, but not nearly as much as I wanted to. Even if everything was fine and nothing really broke down, nothing major and whatever, I've still lost my mojo for wanting to deal with that property. And I think that's ultimately what had me decide that it's time to finally, for real this time, call it quits. I used to go back and forth, and the worst I used to go back and forth was when I had that last apartment where I'd wake up every day in a different mood. Well, lately, continually, like I said, there's an overwhelming vote for get the fuck out of there this time around. And there was not before. There was never that before. Anytime I've tried to wander off and really consider giving up the property in some way, I've always went back and forth every 5 minutes. Chickened out hardcore, came back, left again. Yeah, I've moved out of that house like 7 times. Ridiculous. But this last time when my stuff was out and the buyer was supposed to do their end of the deal and buy the place, that was the most it's ever been emptied out. I always left a little bit of something there that I'd have to get later, and then ended up never having to get it later because I moved back. This last time, when it was up for sale and there was a closing date scheduled and the whole 9 yards, there was not a scrap of anything in that house that I would have had to come back and get on any level. As you saw, we went through room for room and said our last goodbye to the house I'm driving to right now to spend the night in tonight. It doesn't even feel like my house anymore. It just feels like where I have to stay until I can get my apartment in 6 days, 5 days, whatever. But yeah, there's no like, when I said goodbye to the house, I felt like I've already said goodbye to the house. I don't feel like I'm back. I feel like I'm like still leaving at any moment because I am. And anyways, I guess that's harder to explain than I thought it would be. So, what the fuck? Let's go home and play with our cocks. As you know, I have a carload full of shit. I think I said card load. Let me rephrase that. As you know, I have a carload of stuff that I am going to want there that first few days at the apartment. However, I will run out of room because there's stuff at the house. Pretty much everything that I had in my hotel rooms over that 30-day chunk of time when I was living in hotels, that needs to go with me as well. And there's probably going to be more stuff that I'm going to want there in the apartment. For example, I can't wait to find my pillows. I don't know why my pillows went MIA. The last couple nights I've been laying my head on folded up blankets and using them as pillows. Yeah. So there's going to be more stuff. There's going to be like essentially 3 carloads worth of stuff that I want with me when I sign the lease and go up to my apartment for the first time. And I'm going to want my stuff, 3 carloads worth of stuff, essentially, that first few days before I come back to my storage units to move any more shit. Obviously, I'm not taking 3 cars with me. So, as I previously announced, tomorrow is the exciting day I should get my van back. I'm going to ask my friend if he doesn't remind me, then I shall remind him that I want my van back. And then the morning of me going to get my apartment, I will do so in the van. It'll actually be the car that gets left back at the house for a little while. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Concerning the actual morning of me signing my lease, I can start the process as soon as my payroll deposit hits my account, which is not normally until about 10:30 or 10:40 a.m. But last time, it didn't deposit until like 1 or 2 in the afternoon, something like that, which happens extremely rarely. And I really hope that morning is a normal morning when it comes to that, because if it doesn't happen until 2 o'clock in the afternoon, then I may have to just wait, and I guess I'll go do the banking aspect of it first. But as far as actually like seeing the apartment and having enough time to set anything down and take a shower before work, that might not even be able to happen until after work that night. So I guess either way, we'll grind it out. The main goal will be reached, and that is I got my keys, I'm good. I can rebuild my life from there, which is, believe it or not, the only thing I've been able to think about for about, 40 days now.
All right, I've been in my room here for about an hour. Got the room from 45 degrees up to 56 degrees in that hour. So that's good news. It's 28 degrees outside. So I'm glad that the room stayed warm enough to only get down to 45 degrees while I was at work tonight. And look, this is what I've been using for a pillow. Got my blankies. And my actual sleeping bag is in the dryer baking right now because it's so damn cold. I feel like it was a lot warmer in here last night, and I didn't have to do that. But tonight it's going to be so difficult to get into that freezing ass sleeping bag at 40 some degrees. So it's cooking right now. I'm going to put my chocolate milk away. Breakfast of champions. And then I'm going to get buck naked, streak across the house, and then bring my sleeping bag in here and jump inside of it as quick as I can. Now, if you want to know why you should get buck-assed naked before doing what I'm about to do, that's because this room is cold. The sleeping bag is getting hot right now. If you bring it in here and lay it out and then take the time to take all your clothes off, by the time you get in, it won't be as epically, awesomely warm and like slipping into a hot tub feeling, deal. Okay? So, it's cold, it's uncomfortable, it's dog shit, but it's going to be even colder when I take off my freaking winter coat in the middle of April inside of my house. Yeah, get me out of here. But that's okay because it'll make my time lesser. I'm getting crap off the bed. There's like boogies. I don't know who was in here, but I'd rather not, Yes. So, motherfucker, that's about to go down like that. Because if you take the extra time to take your clothes off, your sleeping bag's just getting cold the whole time. And we don't want a cold bag. We want a hot bag, okay? We want to snuggle up to a hot bag, all right?
Hey! I'm in my cocoon of warmth. It feels so fucking good after being in this cold ass house outside the cocoon for like the last 2 hours. Ugh. Feels so good. I got my feet wrapped up in it right now. Anyways, as you can see, I'm in bed and I'm done. I've had a tiring day like you would not believe, and guess what? I don't have to rush to work tomorrow at any point. So I hope my friend doesn't want to give me a ride out to get my van early, because I'm going to be sleeping in for a smidge. But look, I know that this is good night, but soon it'll be good morning, because I'll be back with you again in the morning like always. But for now, I wanted to tell you that you should share this video because it helps me out, or share one of my other videos, maybe one that's like cooler, you know. Also, you can contact me directly by emailing me, dougalonation@gmail.com. Oh. But yeah, I gotta go for now. That's it. It is time to piss on this fire, pack up this campsite, and head back to the cold house and slip into a baked-in-the-dryer sleeping bag, unfortunately. But don't be upset, because I will be back with you again. Like always, 7 a.m. every morning, tomorrow morning included, 7 days a week. You know it. But until then, don't be like this cold weather and be a douche canoe pickle.